So from the setup standpoint, we are going through, or we're following a procurement setup flow, right? So we have done certain common configurations, okay, common procurement configurations, and some of the purchasing configurations as part of the P2P setup yesterday. So document configurations, your items, requisitions, business function configurations, receiving parameters, procurement agents, catalog, supplier setups, okay, and different lookups, and all these setups we have done, or we have already covered as part of P2P setups. Okay, now if you want to implement self-service procurement, then you will be doing these configurations like different descriptive flex fields and different value sets you have to enable, okay, to use them in self-service procurement, and certain profile options and catalog category hierarchy and other setup and configurations are available. So in this particular session, we'll talk about what are all the setups we need to do to implement self-service procurement. So before going into self-service procurement, as I said, the equivalent module in e-business suite is iProcurement, okay, and you have to, this is a separate licensable product. Self-service procurement is a separate licensable product, and purchasing is a mandatory module to implement self-service procurement. You cannot implement self-service procurement as a standalone module on cloud. Okay, if you want to use self-service procurement, you have to implement purchasing cloud. So it goes hand in hand with purchasing cloud. So if you are implementing purchasing cloud, then only you can go to self-service procurement. Okay, and it is a separate licensable product. So self-service procurement product overview. So whatever might be the content, like the purchasable content from internal or external sources, okay, your organization wants the employees to purchase, is configured within self-service procurement. Okay, for example, you have an organization where there is a huge employee database or a huge employee base, and the organization wants the employees to browse through certain content, okay, and add those items to requisitions and create requisitions directly from their employee SSP screens. If you have such scenario, you will go for a self-service procurement implementation. Okay, and so initially what you will do, you will build that catalog content, and you will manage that content. What is this catalog content? With what products and services you want your employees to browse within self-service procurement. Okay, you will initially do all the configurations. You will include all those products and services that your employees can start browsing and start raising requisitions, okay, for those particular products and services. So once you build the catalog content, an employee can a resource can log into the module, and they can simply browse through the content and add the desired products and services to the requisitions and raise the requisition and submit the requisition for approval. Once the requisition is approved, if you are configuring approvals at the requisition level, once it is approved, then the approved requisition line can be converted into a purchase order, or you can directly initiate a negotiation event. Like you don't want to create a purchase order, you want to negotiate with a set of suppliers, and you will receive the responses from those suppliers. Once you are satisfied with the particular response, then you will award business to that particular supplier, and purchasing documents gets created automatically. Voice is breaking. I'm not sure it is from my end or you and Smriti. Let me do a quick audio check once again. Okay. Can you please, if my voice is good on the audio line, please put a green check mark. So I can see the green check marks here. I think Smriti, you have to check from your end once. Okay. Thanks for the confirmation, Vamshi. Okay. Right. So this is the business process, we can say. So there is a hierarchy setup within self-service procurement that is called procurement catalog category hierarchy. Okay. So this hierarchy specifically used within your self-service procurement. Okay, so that your employees can browse through these hierarchies and navigate to the actual purchasing categories. So you can build a hierarchy. Okay, within that hierarchy, you can have your browsing categories, which are used purely for your navigational purposes. And below your browsing categories, you will be associating your item categories. Right? You can means like build a hierarchy so that your employees will be using that within self-service procurement. You can implement this hierarchy at any point of time. Okay, maybe in the initial stages of the implementation you did not find or you don't want to implement it, but a later point of time you want to, then you can do that. Okay, there is only one hierarchy per instance you can define. So you cannot have multiple hierarchies associated to multiple means like entities. So you can only have one hierarchy defined. Okay, so this is procurement catalog category hierarchy. If you remember, there are other hierarchies we talked about as part of P2P setup. One hierarchy is the supplier category hierarchy, which we will be using while defining the suppliers for selecting what products and services we will be using. Another one is a procurement hierarchy, which will be used within your approvals or within your tab, that is accounting setups. Okay, so this is the third hierarchy we came across during the configuration. Okay. So there are certain objects or entities we should understand before going into the actual transactions within self-service procurement. Okay. So the first thing I would now talk about is a content zone. A content zone is nothing but it determines what information you want to display to a particular employee, okay, or a group of employees. So security in self-service procurement is derived by your content zone. You can define multiple content zone, associate different various varieties of content to that, and you will determine who can access this content zone. For example, I create a US content zone assigned to all US employees. That is US business unit. Okay, because all the departments will come under US, the business unit definition. Okay, or I have created a simple facilities zone where I associated only a certain content like smart forms, and I will associate a facility manager in headquarter. So a security, like what content you want to define, as well as who can access a particular content, is determined by a content zone configurations. Okay, so what are the different types of content you can incorporate into this content zone? Okay, as you can see, we have smart forms, we have catalogs, we have shopping list. Okay, so there are different types of content you can associate. Now we will go through each of these content and we will talk about those definitions. Okay, then once we talk about these definitions, we will go and define a content zone, and once we define a content zone, we will associate that content zone to the desired resources, whether it be all employees or a group of employees or specific super users or managers within a particular location. Okay, now there are three types of okay, again a beep. I have joined the audio conference but no voice, certainly some problem. Within the audio options, please check if it is the speaker is not muted. Can we say that SSP generally used for indirect purchases, not direct production? Yes. For your direct scenario, you will be having back-to-back drop shipment kind of scenarios. So it is integrated with your SCM order management modules. Typically use self-service procurement for your indirect purchases. Catalog category hierarchy can be BU specific. No, you can only have one hierarchy per instance as of release 11. Right. So let's talk about the different contents within the content zone, right? So within the content zone, we can associate different content. We'll talk about catalogs. What are the different types of catalogs available? Then we talk about shopping list and smart forms. So there are three types of catalogs available. One is a local catalog. The second one is a Punchout catalog, and the third one is an information catalog. So what is a local catalog? If your organization is maintaining item definitions within the inventory, okay, if you are maintaining the items, defining the items within the inventory, and you want to include those items into your content zone, then you create a local catalog. Or if you want to include or exclude items which you are sourcing through certain BPAs, blanket purchase agreement, then you will use local catalog. Or if you want to include or exclude certain items from which are associated, which are attached to specific categories, then you will use a local catalog. Means whatever definitions, whatever item definitions or products you are defining within the organization, whether it is an item master organization, you want to define items in your item master organization and use those items in your self-service procurement, then you can include them. Or you want to include only specific category of items, then you can include them. Or you want to include only items defined in your blanket purchase agreement, then you will be creating a local catalog. Okay, so this is a local catalog. The second one is a punch-out catalog. Punch-out catalog is a scenario where your organization is not maintaining the item definitions within your organization. Okay, means they don't want to take the burden of creating items, maintaining the items, maintaining the catalogs, maintaining associating to categories, the price list and everything. So in turn, what they will do, they will create a punch-out scenario where you will be navigated to an external supplier site. Okay, so like Dell.com or CDW.com or Lenovo.com, right? So if you want to purchase certain laptops, so then or any kind of computer products, the organization will redirect you to go to Dell.com, and you can browse content within Dell.com and add them to a shopping cart and bring all that information back to self-service procurement and create a requisition. Okay, so this is a this punch-out catalog. Okay, this is an external punch-out scenario where none of the details or none of the products are defined within our organization. You will go to an external site, browse through the content, bring information back into Fusion Cloud, and you start creating your requisition. Because that is a punch-out catalog. The third one is an informational catalog. Okay, information catalogs are purely used for informational purposes. Okay, for example, you want to associate certain travel policies or updated HR policies, okay, within your organization, and you want to all your employees to access that information, then you create an information catalog, associate all this documentation, or you can even attach certain URLs so that the employees can navigate to those URLs and review the different policies or whatever documentation you are associating, right? So these are the different types of catalogs you can create within the application. Now let me log into the application. Okay, I'm logging in as a Kelvin Roth super user login of procurement. Okay, so click on navigator, setup and maintenance. As you can see, all self-service procurement configurations, okay, are part of a task list, self-service procurement configuration within your implementation project. Okay, go to implementation project. Procurement implementation project. Expand procurement. Okay, all self-service procurement configurations are available here. like your descriptive flex fields, your profile options. You can manage your hierarchy, okay, and different options. Other options are set up whatever is the catalog content. So that will be part of your catalogs here, procurement catalogs. So I'm navigating to catalogs. So this is the catalog configuration overview page, setup page. Okay. Click on task. Here you can manage your agreements, that is a blanket purchase agreements, manage your different types of catalogs. You can also modify means like create your own catalog category hierarchy from this particular task list. Manage your content zones, information templates, public shopping list, all purchasing news, smart forms and map sets. So we will look into each of these configurations in this particular session. So the first thing we are talking about is manage catalogs. So click on manage catalogs. As we have seen, there are three types of catalogs available. That is a local catalog, a punch-out catalog, information catalog. If you want to create a local catalog, click on the button. If a punch-out catalog, select punch-out and information catalog. Okay. So what exactly is a local catalog? So when I click on local catalog, it is asking me to define this catalog under a business unit. That is a procurement business unit. Specify a catalog name, okay, and a description. Now here I can include items that are sourced from all agreements. So if I have blanket purchase agreements created, I want all the items from all the blanket purchase agreements which are active to be part of my local catalog. Okay, then I will include all items from all agreements. I want to include items from specific agreements. So I don't want to include every blanket purchase agreement item. I want to add only specific agreement. Then I can use this include from specific agreement, select only those agreements. Or I want to exclude items from specific agreements. So I don't want certain items which are part of a particular agreement to be available for employees, okay, for browsing. Then I can exclude items from specific agreement. Or I want to exclude items that are sourced through agreements. Since I don't want any item that is sourced from a blanket purchase agreement, right? So depending upon your requirement, you will configure whether you will include all items from agreements. Then you have an option like include all master items. Means if you want to include all items that you are defining within your inventory and which you have associated to the purchasing functional area. Okay, means you're associating it to a purchasing catalog and having a purchasing category so that they will be available to use or they will be available for you to use in procurement, right? So if you want to include all those items for which a purchasing catalog and category is associated, then you can include all those master items. Or you don't want to include all master items, you want to include items associated to a specific category. So within purchasing also, I don't want every item to be available. Category wise, I want to include. Then you can include items from all categories or from specific categories or completely exclude item from specific categories. So your local catalog contain all products and services which are part of your organization's item definitions. Whether it be item master organization or include or exclude or every item or only include certain categories, or you can include items that you are sourcing through agreements, right? So this is a local catalog. Means whatever is available locally within your organization, you can configure that within your local catalog. Okay. The second one is a punch-out catalog. Okay, click on punch-out catalog. Now here again, you create a punch-out catalog under a particular business unit, catalog name, description. You can also put an image URL. So you can copy an image URL, means like you can also simply copy an images from Google and right click and copy the image URL and paste it so it will display the image for you. Make sure means like in a real implementation you don't means like insert any copyrighted images there, right? So you also have a functionality of keywords. So you can put in a lot of keywords within this particular section. So whenever an employee searches or whenever an employee search criteria matches with this particular keyword partially or completely, okay, then this punch out catalog will be displayed in the results section. Okay, for example, I put keywords like mouse, laptop, power adapter, different kinds of keywords. Okay, whenever means like any employee searches for is looking for mouse or laptop or power card, then automatically this punch out catalog will be displayed for him. So that is the use of a keyword. Now the distinguishing factor between two keywords is space. So if you put a keyword like mouse, then just use space and put another keyword like adapter. And you can put means like multiple keywords here, right? Now you have a lot of configurations how you want to use the particular punch out. Like you want to use a direct CXML supplier punch out, a direct Oracle native XML supplier punch out, or via Oracle Exchange. Now we are not going to the technical configurations of how you will go and configure a punch out, because it needs a lot of information like your supplier details, supplier punch out URL means supplier has to support. Means supplier should have a website, they should have means like the products and services defined there, and they will provide you the URL and password and different information. So they will key in all the information related to those websites and the domain and identity details. Okay. Now we also we have uploaded a white paper there in the white paper section. If you want to know more about punch out configurations, okay. So what are the technical things you should be doing and what are the functional configurations you should be doing? So punch out setup guide is available for you in the white papers. This will give you all information from where you should get the information. Once the supplier provides all the technical information, you come here and start configuring these details. Okay. And so we are not covering that as part of this particular session. Okay. So this is a punch out configuration. All prices are negotiated or not, means you already negotiated those prices, means like using blanket purchase agreements. And apply mapping. What is mapping? As I said, an employee will be navigated from Fusion applications to an external website, that is the supplier website, and bring back those products and services into Fusion. So whenever means like a transition between two different applications happen, okay, the data within Fusion might be different as compared to data within the supplier side. For example, the unit of measures we are using in our internal organization might be different than the unit of measure the supplier might be using, right? Or means like the categories we are using might be different. Okay, the supplier might be having their own internal categories, or the supplier site details might be different. Okay. So you need to have a mapping between those two values, mapping between internal values and an external value. Okay. You define those mappings as part of the setup. I will show you how to define those mappings. Once you define the mapping, you come here and apply a particular mapping here. So if you want to apply a mapping, you select that definition map set. So you define your mappings under a map set and you select what is the map set you want to apply to this particular punch out configuration. Okay, so this is apply mapping. Or punch out such items are like you can upload item details and price details from your suppliers. You can get those details from your supplier. You can upload all of those details within cloud. Okay, so instead of every time navigating to a supplier site, okay, you might be having 3 or 4 suppliers. So you can compare all those items within cloud only. So the same product might be supplied from a couple of suppliers. So they will give you all the details they will upload within cloud as part of initial configuration. So employee can browse through those items. He finds that, okay, 2 items are provided by 2 suppliers. He can compare and see what is the best product. Then once he finalizes on a particular product, then he can navigate to a supplier site and start requisitioning that particular product, right? And what category of items are available for browsing under this particular punch-out catalog, you can associate that. If you are uploading such punch-out such items, you have to use upload punch-out such items. Okay. and what are the templates available, how you will be uploading. So if you once it is enabled, the resources are available within the same button. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, there are two Punchout configurations available. One is for CDW and Dell computers. For example, let me take Dell computers, click on edit, right? So this is how your Punchout configuration will look like. Okay, the details, what is the procurement BU, keywords, Dell computers or computers. Okay, and this is the image. You can just copy paste a URL, so it will display that particular image. You need not upload the images in a specific media folder and then refer to them, not required. And other details like your Punchout definition details, what is the URL your employees will be navigating to, password details, domain details, identity details. Okay, and you want to apply specific mapping. Okay, and if you want to upload Punchout search items, if you click on upload Punchout search items, then you can download the resources. Okay, so it will give you an option to browse, means like, and upload those details in a specific format. So what formats are supported, what are the different resources required to upload those items. So you can download all the resources from this particular button. The moment you click on download, a zip file will be downloaded and you can use that to upload those items into your Punchout configuration, right? So we will means like understand these functionalities once we go to self-service procurement configuration after the setups. So the third type is an information catalog. Okay, you can see here whether it is a local catalog, a Punchout catalog, or an information catalog. Let's take an existing one. You can create a new one using this button. So the same options again, create under a BU, name, description, what is the URL. If you want to give your employees a link to a particular URL so that they can go there and access the travel policies or access the updated HR policies, I can key in multiple URLs here as well and different keywords. Whenever they are searching for these keywords, then this particular information catalog will be displayed, and images and what categories I want to allow or associate for browsing against this information catalog. So your definition of catalogs, okay, is again, as I said, is defined under three different types of catalogs: Punchout, information, and local catalogs. Okay. So these are the three types of catalogs. Now supplier content map set, as I said, whenever you are means like doing a Punchout configuration, your external values might be different than your Fusion application internal values. You need to have a mapping between them. Okay. Now your internal supplier names might be different than the supplier name what the supplier is using. The site details which you are using or the site name, whatever might be, might be different than the supplier site naming conventions. Your UM might be different than the external UM. Your categories might be different than external categories. Okay, so these are the four entities for which you can create mapping. Okay, you need not do an item mapping. Okay, because you don't want to maintain items within your internal organization. That is the reason you typically go for a Punchout configuration. Okay, so whenever you select items, those items definitions or the name of those items are key. Once you bring back the details, it will be inserted into the description. So with a simple description and a category association, you can create a requisition. Okay, this is available in the e-business suite also as a non-catalog request. So without actual item code, you can create a requisition by keying in the description of an item and a category association, right? So that is a non-catalog request. So what happens in a Punchout scenario? You may not be maintaining all those items within your organization. Okay, you don't want to take the burden of maintaining because you are not sourcing. You are not means like using say inventory. You are not defining at all inventory items. So what happens if you go to Punchout site and bring information back? The item code will be keyed in the description and the category will be associated. So you can simply create a requisition there, right? So that is the reason only these four fields are required for mapping. Other than that, you don't need any kind of a map sets defined.